Welcome back to the Polly Tea with D. Oh my god, it's been so long. It's been over a month. No, it's actually been so long. I think like 5 or 6 weeks. My bad. I know. I think I said I'd be. I think I said I'd be gone for like 2 weeks, but honestly, I really overestimated how hard moving was. I haven't had to move anywhere since I was like 8, and then we just stayed in the same place forever and ever and ever. So yeah, and moving different countries. And in my mind, I was like, okay, it's London, like whatever. It's like right next door. No, it's a different land out here, lads. It's actually a different land. It's a different. Everything's different here. I don't know why I thought I knew it wouldn't be the exact same, obviously, because nothing can ever touch our land. Ireland, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. It's actually just so different. So I'm getting used to it. Also, trying to find a job. Whoa. They don't give a shit about degrees here, guys. Really and truly, it's actually so like, and everyone's on this like hustle grind culture, like working like crazy hours, and it's like, no, I don't really want to do that. I kind of just want to live, laugh, love. So I was trying to find that balance, but whatever. Whatever is meant for me won't pass me, all that kind of jazz. So I'll figure it out. But other than that, yeah, I've just been. What have I been doing? Me and my roommate, I have two roommates. Both of them are from Ireland. We came here together, and we actually like one of us. We went to the same secondary school, and then the other one we just knew each other from the estate that we grew up in, like the same area. So, and we all know each other. Like we all know each other. So it's actually pretty fun having roommates. I thought I would be like, I don't know, because I only ever lived with my family. I thought, oh, this might be a bit of a sticky one still, but no, no, no. They are actually great roommates, and the third one only moved a week ago. She's actually already back in Ireland. Like she came here for a week and then went back for Olivia Dean. I was supposed to go back for Olivia Dean, but I was like, oh, Olivia Dean's British. She'll come back here again. Like there's no point. I just got here. I don't want to go back again. So, but she's back. Good for her. She's back. But she'll be back on Tuesday, I think. And then the other roommate, she came a week after me, or like 10 days after me. So we've just been doing random stuff, like go to like random events and stuff, like we went to like a sunglasses hut opening or something because they were like, giving free ice cream. We went to like a sriracha like sauce thing because they had like a photo booth. Like we just go to random things because there was like a moth is like some alcoholic drink. I don't even know. It's a tequila cocktail, whatever. It's like a buzzball type of thing, and it's so strong, but pretty decent. Not an ad. Why would moth sponsor me? Okay, Dean, no one needs you to clarify it's not an ad. But anyway, yeah, we went to one of those. Like we just go anywhere where there's free stuff, like free ice cream. I got a free water bottle at some like phone case opening thing. I was like, okay. So it's pretty fun. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. But no one, that's not important. Let's actually talk about Irish politics, guys. I've been out of the loop. I've been out of the loop. I feel like obviously there's going to be so many things that maybe I missed or I didn't touch on, but I'm kind of just trying to keep things relevant, trying to keep things really up to date. So I did a deep dive. Oh my god, a month of stuff to catch up on is actually quite a lot. I thought I'd get it done super quick, but no, 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 no. And also, I was supposed to bring it back last week, but then I got really sick. I don't know how I got that. I think it was like tonsillitis or something. And that was also the same week that I had friends visiting. So I was like sick while they were here and it was just a mess. But I think I started to recover. But I couldn't film because I couldn't even speak. So, and I think I'm still, like, I'm kind of not too bad now, but my voice still isn't back to what it's supposed to be? But yeah, I'm catching up on a month of politics. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was hard. But we're back. And then I feel like now that I'm caught up from this point on, it should be grand because it's what I've been doing before? So let's get into it. Starting with number one, where's the Occupied Territories Bill? And I've said this before. I think I actually mentioned the Occupied Territories Bill every single week because where is it? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, so here's what some people have said because the government have said that they're gonna bring it in soon. They're like it's coming. Except they've been saying that because remember, our general election was what, November 2024, and every party, including our current government party, said that they would make the Occupied Territories Bill a priority. So that would mean that they would pass it pretty soon. So why is it now we're in June 2026 and this bill is yet to be seen? And not only is it yet to be seen, it's completely destroyed. No services involved. No services involved. Okay. So let's see what some people have to say because right now it's going towards the committee stage. I think it's already gone through committee stage and they're hoping that it should be done 24th of June and then go to the Shannon stages around July, so ahead of the summer recess, so that hopefully it's done by then. Because they want this done before summer, but I'm like, you should have had it done before last summer, or the summer before that, or the summer before that, or the summer before that, but whatever. So, People for Profit, Richard Boy Barrett said he believes that the government is completely gutting the Occupied Territories Bill because they're excluding the services, which is actually almost 90% of the economic exchanges between Ireland and that area. So, what's going on there? And then we also have Sean Crow from Sinn Féin, and he said an occupied territories bill that does not include services might suit the government's collective conscience, but it will not trouble the genocidal Israeli regime in the slightest. Okay? There must be an effective ban on all trade, including trade in services, with Israel's illegal settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem. Occupiers must not be allowed to legitimize their occupation through trade, let alone profit from it. Can I get a hell yeah? Because seriously, I don't. This government are weak, you know what? And I don't know, they love to just like pat themselves on the back for the most basic things. And they're like, we're one of the most pro-Palestinian countries in the world, but you wouldn't believe it by the way people in the Dáil speak to us. Okay, okay, like you want everybody to clap and say thank you for that random speech that you made the other day, but like you're actually not introducing any legislation, doing anything. Just love to tack and tack and tack and tack and tack. And listen to this, Helen McEntee, it seems, has also been delaying putting forward the Occupied Territories Bill because she wants to see what the EU are doing. She keeps saying that she's pushing for the EU to do something. How about we stop talking about the EU and dealing with the EU and start actually doing stuff in this country? I mean, oh, can I keep saying this country if I'm not in the country anymore? Hey, I wonder. Um, but no. Why are we still talking about the EU? The EU aren't gonna do shit. The EU actually aren't gonna do shit. They're all in Israel's back pocket. So can we stop asking them to do something and how about we do something? Okay? This is what she said. What I've also been advocating for, although this has not happened yet, shocker, is that a further proposal from the Commission would be put on the table that would specifically ban trade in the illegal occupied territories, and I believe this would have a greater level of support from member states. Not unanimity. Unanimity? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Whatever. But I do believe that would have a greater chance of receiving qualified member voting and support from member states. Oh my god, let's just stop talking about the EU right now, honestly, because this EU aren't going to do shit. Because if they were going to do shit, they would have done it a long time ago, same as this current government. So, anyway, two sides of the same coin. This brings us on to our next point, Ireland versus Israel match. Okay, Nations League match. We don't want it to go ahead. No one wanted to go ahead. The players don't. Loads of like sports people. I don't know. I thought what they're called, sports stars, players, people in the sporting world. None of them wanted to go ahead, and yet the government are just kind of standing on their hands, or sitting on their hands, like, well, there's nothing we can do. Well, actually, there is a ton of shit that you can do, and yeah, let's talk about what they could do. So first of all, right now the situation is that it's going to be played in a neutral venue, even though the whole point is that we don't want it to go ahead, period, point blank. And the reason that it's going ahead in a neutral venue, and I don't know in what universe they ever thought this was going to be able to happen in Aviva anyway. I don't know why anyone even had that in their brain, because there was a match, Ireland versus Qatar, and there was like balls thrown onto the pitch saying stop the game. So they were like, whoa, if this happened in a Qatar game, I wonder what would happen in a Dublin game. Guys, come on, like, use our brains. Like, obviously, if it was ever gonna happen in Dublin, the Israel versus Ireland match, there would be protests up the wazoo. The players wouldn't even be able to get onto the pitch, I'm sure. Okay, so I don't know what they were thinking, but anyway, it's gonna be in a neutral venue now. They're thinking Hungary. I don't know why Hungary. I don't know. I don't know the context there, but that's a neutral venue, so that's what they're thinking. But like, it really shouldn't be going ahead. Anyway, two motions were put forward on this topic. One by Sinn Féin and one by the Social Democrats. And motions are just proposals, and they're like asking for the Dáil to take a stand on something, or to, like, it's like a call for action. It's not really a law, and it doesn't change legislation, but it's like it's politically powerful. Like, take a stand. Basically. So Sinn Féin's motion was asking the government to support the FAI in boycotting the game and paying the fine that would come as a result. Okay, and to not give any senior Israeli officials visas to come to the country if they wish to attend the match. So that's their motion. That was shut down. Okay, and like, once a motion's before, there's a debate in the Dáil. loads of the left wing parties were like, we need you guys to actually stand the hell up and do something. The government's response is, well, we can't even do anything. Like it's out of our control. These like sporting bodies are independent. Like we can't control what they do. Not true, by the way. I'll give you some points later. But anyway, so this is what Fianna Fáil TD Charlie McConnell said, and he was talking about like he's trying to wrap the government, saying like there's nothing we can do. He said they've already taken several measures to support the people of Palestine. Oh my God, should we stand up and clap? Mind you, genocide's still ongoing, so right. Anyway, he then said national governing bodies in sport are independent and the government does not decide who plays. And the Taoiseach has said something similar. And interesting, there was a point around this, like around the debate, where two TDs from the government had the exact same speech. So it's giving PR, and like somebody kind of said, okay, this is what you say if you're asked on this topic, which not really genuine, really bad politics. But anyway, that's what happened. And then Gary Gannon, he gave some examples of times that Ireland did take a stand when it came to sports and politics and the two mixing. Gave the example of the expulsion of apartheid South Africa from FIFA. And then also in 1981, there was a decision made by a bunch of Irish rugby players not to tour South Africa. And then also, Bertie Ahern, when he was Taoiseach, he intervened before an Ireland versus Federal Republic of Yugoslavia football qualifier in 99, and then also the response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, because hello, have you seen Russia in any single sporting event at all since the invasion of Ukraine? And has anyone ever said, hey, why don't we let Russia play a football game? Like, we can't judge their players for the actions of their government when we all know you absolutely can, because everything is linked. Okay, so I don't know why they're playing dance. I mean, I do know why they're playing dance, because it's easier for them. It actually just is easier for them to not take a stand in anything, because they're always thinking about like their pockets and their careers, and like how will this benefit them and how will this hurt them, and in the long run, like what happens in like 10 years or 20 years if Israel maybe bounces back or something, and maybe people don't hate Israel as much. Like they're just weak. We just have a weak government, okay? Shocker. And then also the Social Democrats, they had their own bill or their own motion, and they were calling for Israel's exclusion from all international sporting fixtures. I mean, this is an obvious one, and yet it's not happened yet, so. Well. Okay, guys, I'm gonna play you guys a little video of our own Simon Harris talking about councils and how they're not doing enough to deal with derelict properties. Let's just listen before we get into it. Have a good laugh, because this guy is truly, truly nuts.
Far too many chief executives of far too many councils with the Taoiseach, with the Minister for Housing, with the Minister of State for Planning, and they eyeball us and say they've done enough. And they haven't. They're letting young people down. If housing is an emergency, it is an emergency. We've given them extra staff, we've given them extra funding, and they haven't done enough on dereliction. And how sickening is it if you're a young person trying to buy a home and you're living in a neighbourhood or a community or driving by boarded up buildings, some of which are public buildings. So a practical example of where the government is going to have to step in now is we're going to have to take this over, because we can't leave it to the local authorities because they failed in their job to administer the derelict sites levy. They've badly failed, with a few notable exceptions, by the way.
No, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh! Except I have to. There's something about Simon Harris that truly, like, there's something special that goes on in that man's head. The lack of accountability in any situation. I don't think he said sorry once in his life. Actually, I don't think he's ever said sorry once in his life. I don't think he's ever acknowledged any wrongdoing he's ever made, ever. Sure, this is the man who was Minister for Health at the time the Children's Hospital was being, like, built from the beginning. And he can't even admit any role that he played in the delays, anything. He's like, was I Minister for Health at that time? Was I guess I was, but it's not like I signed anything. You've signed over a million things in regards to that. But anyway, this guy lacks total the ability to be accountable for anything, which is such a worrying, um, like a worrying quality in a politician. The fact that they can never just like that he can't admit when he's wrong or when he made a mistake. Because how are you now blaming councils for the housing crisis? I'm sorry, guys, I'm tweaking out. The audacity to say, and can you imagine being a young person? You can't even buy a home and driving past all these derelict buildings. Can you imagine how that feels? Yeah, I actually can't imagine how it feels, Simon, because that's my life. That's actually my life. You're using my life for political gain. Mind you, you've been in government for what, 14 years? And all of a sudden that's the council's fault. Do you know what I mean? And do you know how I know he's being disingenuous? Because there's been multiple bills put forward by the opposition to deal with derelict buildings, okay? For years and years and years and years and years, everybody's been saying, hello, there's so many buildings out there that aren't paying taxes, that they can just stay there. Like, sure, where I live at home in Dublin, like all of Sandyford, like there was derelict buildings there for years and years and years, and I'm thinking, hey, I kind of want to live there, but you can't because the government didn't want to do anything about it, you know? So it's just very interesting now that all of a sudden they care and that it's the council's fault. Let me give you an example of a bill that the opposition put forward. This was the Green Party, okay? That actually answers the call to deal with the derelict building. And this was backed by the opposition, but the government, they shut it down. They shut it down, and I'll even give you the reasons why. It's funny when you hear the reasons why, and then you also think of everything that Simon Harris just said in that speech, okay? He said, so we have the Dereliction and Building Regeneration Bill 2025, okay, introduced by the Greens, okay, and what would this bill do? Expand the legal definition of dereliction, which would empower local authorities to intervene on a wider range of decaying and neglected property, so they could, if they see neglected property, it's because there's so, when it comes to councils and just everything in general in Ireland, everything is like red tape, red tape, red tape. There's just, it's so much bureaucracy. So this would kind of cut through some of that red tape, right? Another one would be to introduce new tax measures designed to penalize leaving properties vacant and make it significantly cheaper and easier to renovate old buildings, because a lot of these land developers and all these people have all of these empty buildings and they're not even paying tax on it, or barely any tax on it. They're it doesn't cost them anything to just leave it there. So obviously if they can leave something there, the property value goes up and up and up, and then whenever they decide it's the right time to start building a house or doing something with it, they can do that. Because what is to stop them from doing that? There's nothing to stop them from doing that, and people have told the government that for time and time and time and time. And all of a sudden now Simon Harris is saying, I can't believe the council wouldn't do anything about that. Oh, shut up, man. Next, if this project went through, it would have helped deliver roughly 10,000 to 11,000 much needed homes a year. But why did the government say no? Question mark, question mark, question mark. One, it overlapped with existing government plans. But where are those plans now? Hmm? Where are the plans at? Oh, they're not there. They're not there, okay? Next, it needed further legal scrutiny. And that's what the government love to say when they actually don't want to deal with something. We need further legal scrutiny. What does that mean? I'm convinced that there's no one in government that's actually a lawyer, or do they have lawyers that work for them? Because these lawyers don't want to work. I thought lawyers worked hard. I know a lawyer. I know two lawyers. I know many lawyers, and they all work hard. This lawyer, the ones that work for the government, they don't work hard, I guess. Because why is it every time? Every time, even the Occupied Territories Bill. Well, we need legal to look into it. Well, does legal want to do that then? Hmm? Question. Okay, it's just lazy. It's just a lazy argument. And next, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. It would interfere with local authority autonomy. Hmm. Oh, oh. But all of a sudden now the councils aren't doing shit. If you really felt like that, you should have done that. You should have dealt with that time and time ago. But now all of a sudden it's a problem. Do you get me? It's just disingenuous, and that's Fine Gael right now. They're really trying to distance themselves from this government. Okay, but it's too late. Like you can't distance. You just can't distance yourself from a government you've been a part of for years and years and years. Like that. That doesn't make sense. Okay, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I just watched that video and I said, "This sounds a bit weird. It's a bit odd, no?" So I was thinking, surely other parties have introduced some legislation around dereliction, and lo and behold, they had. That's not even the only bill. That's the most recent one, 2025. Okay, so next. Anyway, and all this isn't me just saying like the councils are perfect. The councils are perfect. Like no one's saying that. Hello, a lot of these councils are run by Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, so it's like obviously they're not perfect. But I just think it's just so disingenuous for Simon Harris to all of a sudden decide that they're the problem, when I'm like, a lot of these people work for you and follow your policies, and like there's only so much councils can even do. And they keep saying like we gave them money and we gave them all these things, and it's like, yeah, but your policies are shit now, so then what? Like now what? Do you know what I mean? So anyway, No one's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But the government sure shit have no leg to stand on. That's all. On the topic of housing, the government are preparing to loosen some planning rules for one-off rural housing. So this is, to entice people to come home because they can build on their family land. Because there's even rules and regulations about how many houses you can build on your own land. Like the councils can shut that down. So hopefully it'll entice people to move home or to stay home because they can just build houses on their land. Some of the This is like not happening yet, but this is just like some things that they're hoping will be scrapped. So there's the five in a row rule. So this rule allows councils to refuse planning if there's too many houses built in a row. So they're hoping to get rid of that. That's such a silly rule, first of all. In a country where there's a housing crisis, I mean, the local authorities would no longer be able to impose numeric caps on how many homes can be built on family land. So we'll see how this goes, where this goes, but this is just a plan that what they're preparing to do. I haven't actually read too much on this, but that's what they're preparing to do. So let's talk about the Healy rays. So I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about them because I was like, do people care about the Healy rays? And then my friend was like, they absolutely do care about the Healy rays. But and I'd also mentioned them before, so I'm like, okay, may as well talk about it again because it's related to what we've talked about: the field protest, them resigning, whatever. Um, but yeah, they're fighting, and sometimes I feel a little sad in a way because I'm like siblings fighting. But me and my sister fight all the time, so honestly, it's just the natural order of things. But it's awkward because they're fighting in the media, and is it fighting really? I'll let you decide. I think it's more of a disagreement. It's more of a tiff, if you will. But yeah, so Michael Healy-Rae resigns his junior minister position over the fuel protests, right? And everybody's like, wait, why did he, like, what's going on? Because the day before he was saying he has full confidence in the government, and then now he's voting no confidence along with his brother Danny. Everyone assumes it's because Danny was going to vote no confidence, so he had no choice to do the same. Michael Healy-Rae says that's not true. He comes out fist in the air, freedom fighter-esque kind of vibe. And he's like, no, it's because I just didn't have confidence in this government, and this is the way things have been shaping up, okay? This is just the way things have gone. Well, 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 well. He's gone on Kerry Radio, and so had a Radio Kerry, and so is his brother. But Michael Healy-Rae basically went on and was like, yeah, my brother fucked things up for me. Like, there was no way that I could continue being a minister with the way that Danny was acting, the things that he was saying, the fact that he went onto Radio Kerry and said he didn't have confidence in the government and that they both had to go, that the Taoiseach and the Tánaiste had to go. So he was like, there's no way I could have been a minister while that's happening. Like, they were going to take that role from me regardless. So I had to just do it first. Like he said, first of all, I was sacked on Radio Kerry because that started it. Oh. And then he also said I was pulled overboard by the situation. That's kind of crazy. This is what he said. Team Healy-Rae has been damaged by this. All I wanted to do at all times was think about County Kerry. I was thinking about all the years that the Healy-Raes had given to get into some position where we could do something. We were finally in that position. All that needed to be done was to have political backbone. Oh. And to stay on the course and fight from within the government to do the best to deliver, because it's all about delivery. And then he said, but when Danny Healy-Rae broke that promise to support the government, it was over. And then he said, we gave our word to the two other men, and that was the Taoiseach and the Tánaiste. And then one of the people that gave their word was saying those two should be gone. He's talking about his brother, because he said those two guys need to go. So everybody that was gagging and gooping and obsessed with Michael Healy-Rae's resignation, thinking, wow, he's a man of the people. He's not a man of the people. His brother fucked it for him, and he had no choice but to resign. And everybody said this at the time, and he was like, no, 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 no. I did this because I felt like I had to, blah blah blah. Nah, you've just come out. And you know why he's saying all this? Because he wants to find his way back to government. And Simon Harris has said that the door is open for Michael Healy-Rae to return to the government benches in the future. So he's doing this because he wants to go back to government. So if you all thought he was some, political leader or whatever that everyone could back, I don't think anyone who even listens to me ever thought that. But he's not that guy. He's just not that guy. Next, let's talk about SNAs because that's been a massive conversation at the moment. The fear that SNAs were going to be losing jobs or being moved from schools that they were currently in, and that the students that they were providing support to would now lose that support because, like, SNAs obviously do so much and they become like, well, the student that they're with becomes attached to them because they're so used to taking care of them and they know their needs and their support, what they need to do to support them. So there was a big fear of SNAs being shifted around the country or to different schools or whatever. But after that whole thing came out, the government did backtrack. So we now have some clarifications about what that means. So a roadmap has been developed for the development and professionalism of the role of special needs assistants, and it has been set out in the new workforce development plan for SNAs. So, what are some things that it includes? First, no school will be losing an SNA in the school year 2026 to 2027. And no more than one SNA can be declared surplus. So, an SNA who's like a surplus SNA is when the school's allocation has been reduced, so they're they need less SNAs, or a pupil with high special needs has moved, or there's been like a rebalance shuffling within a bunch of schools. Okay, so now only schools can only lose one SNA, regardless of if the formula that they've created means that they should be losing more. Okay, so this is to protect schools from sudden staffing cuts. Still not ideal, but it's something. And then also SNAs are included in a broader inclusion team. So they're this means that there's more training, more defined roles, and then less reliance on individual diagnosis and access to support. However, some issues that SNAs have with all of this is they think that some people think that the new model makes it worse and that their role is poorly defined. So they want clarity on what their tasks are, what tasks are instructional, what the tasks are care, and then what tasks belong to a teacher versus an SNA, and how behavioral support should be managed. They're basically getting a bit of a wider role with no pay rise, and the government love to do this, and just like in general, the government love to do this where they make people's roles bigger than they actually are. What then? I mean, the role is already big, and now they're giving them the title or whatever, but they're not giving them the pay for this wider role that they're getting, that they've been given, or that they've been doing anyway, regardless. So low pay, split shifts or short days that make full time income impossible, and there's no structured career pathway, but they do like that there's more training being provided, more training opportunities, and better integration with teachers and SEN teams, because now that's like they're part of a team. It's not like the SNA is dealing with just a student. It's like they work with the teachers, everybody's working together, which I'm sure they've already been doing, but now it's clarified, if you will. Like it's written down on paper. Anyway, as part of this plan, there's going to be continued conversations with SNAs and trade unions. So we shall see what those conversations produce, and hopefully they'll listen to the concerns that the SNAs actually have, because I feel like the government probably think, oh, we've given you what you wanted, except they haven't. So let's talk about a bill that passed, the 3-day wait time to get an abortion. We talked about this, I want to say in the last episode or the episode before. Social Democrats put forward a bill that was pretty similar to this, except it was much better. But Sinn Féin's bill, whatever. I still got beef with Sinn Féin for abstaining from the Social Democrats bill. But whatever, a win is a win. The 3-day, it's not been passed or whatever. It's just gone through the first stage. But the fact that it's gone through the stage is a good sign, and it'll probably, go through all the different stages. So this bill gets rid of the 3-day wait time to have an abortion, and this was a vote of free conscience, so members of the government could vote whatever way they wanted. People weren't party whipped, which is how it passed. Yeah, it's going to go through the different stages where people can add amendments, or like TDs can add amendments, and then, but Jennifer Carr McNeil, Minister for Health, said that she's basically happy the way that it is. So I guess, but then there's a few cabinet members who voted no. So I wonder if that'll have an impact, or people are wondering if it'll have an impact on whether it passes to the final stage or not. But they said that it's supposed to pass by the end of the year. Slow, but whatever. It's supposed to pass by the end of the year. I'm still mourning the Social Democrats bill, because this bill doesn't deal with fatal fetal abnormalities and the decriminalization or the criminalization of doctors, and how do we deal with that. Really, it's just a 3-day wait. But you know what? I'll take the win. We'll take the win. But it's Sinn Féin. You've still pissed me off, I'll be honest with you. So I think this is the last topic. Honestly, I'm sure I've missed so much that has happened in the past month, but I don't know. We'll just carry on. Let's talk about Fine Gael deciding that they're all about unity now. This is interesting, okay? So Fine Gael will publish a unity blueprint by November, which is outlining the party's approach to preparing for a potential united Ireland. Simon Harris said the political parties are duty bound. Interesting. To engage constructively in unity planning. Interesting. Let's hear what Simon Harris had to say about this unity plan, okay? Because all about unity now. Sure, look, sure, listen. We cannot be passive observers to change, nor can we approach questions on the future constitutional status of this island through slogans, sentimentality, or simplistic assumptions as some other political parties on this island do. Enough! Like, enough! Oh my god, like he's always shading people. Like, just do your job. Actually, just do your job. Like, you're in government, you're shading people in opposition. Mind you, people in opposition can't even do shit because you block them at every turn. And somehow that's a problem. Like, you're actually just doing too much. Oh, brother. Let me lock in. He said, if constitutional change is to happen, it must be prepared for carefully, honestly, and inclusively. I think Fine Gael just hates Sinn Féin, and I know they do because Simon Harris hates me, Mary Lou. But I wonder if Simon Harris hates Mary Lou or he hates Sinn Féin. Like, I wonder if Mary Lou was removed from the equation if he could engage constructively with them. I don't know, but I just know he hates her. But anyway, speaking about Mary Lou, she said, "Put your money where your mouth is." She said it's very good now that you're supporting unity and that you're taking this seriously. But I hope you're serious about this. And she said that Sinn Féin are looking to introduce some legislation, and if Simon Harris is actually serious about unity, he will vote in favor of it. Okay, so what is this legislation? It's going to ask the government to produce a green paper on Irish reunification. And green papers are like constitutional documents that are produced by the government, and then it like allows citizens to put forward their thoughts and like their ideas, and if they agree or they disagree on it. And it's like a consultation, if you will. She also wants to convene an all island, obviously it'd have to be an all island one, citizens assembly, and to give oversight to the Oireachtas committee in carrying out this work. And she said, this needs to happen, and I would challenge Simon Harris now that he's acknowledging what we have been saying for a very, very long time. I would say to him, well, demonstrate your seriousness of intent and your good faith by supporting this Sinn Féin legislation. We'll see if he does, though. We'll actually see if he does. Chances of him supporting that? No, because he's going to say, well, we already have our own plan, so why would we support yours? But this isn't even a plan. Like, this one, I would say, is very simple legislation to put forward, because it's something that the government themselves could put forward. Like, it's just a green paper. It's just a citizens assembly. I mean, all this stuff costs money, but it's like, well, unity is gonna cost money. But yeah, oh my god, guys, we definitely are gonna see a united Ireland in my lifetime. I don't know the age of everyone who listens to me, but in my lifetime, I think we're gonna see united Ireland, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Will it be Fine Gael's government that leads us to that? Who knows? But yeah, interesting. I wonder. I think this is, again, I mentioned Simon Harris and like Fine Gael are really trying to like separate themselves from this government. This is, I think, another move to do that. To be like, is Fianna Fáil talking about unity? I don't think so. Vote for us. And I think they're trying to grab some people from other parties. Sinn Féin, I guess, being one of them. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they are taking this seriously. I want to see the blueprint. I want to see what it means, because he was saying something like, "Oh, we need to see what it could do for us economically." You, I'll be honest. You can't be thinking about the like how uniting Ireland is going to benefit us economically and like positively. Like, you really can't be thinking that way, because it probably won't. But you got to just be thinking with your heart and your soul and your love for this country. Okay, let's not think about the money situation of it all, because if you start thinking about it that way, we are not going to get anywhere. You got to be thinking about it in this is our fucking land. Let's get that shit back. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if his heart's really in it. But that's all I have for today, and I feel like I've missed so much. I don't know. I tried to like catch up on as much as I could, but whatever. We'll get back into the swing of things, and maybe people can just comment if they're like, "You never mentioned this," and I'll be like, "I didn't even know that." So then I'll look it up, and we can talk about it then. So yeah, that's all I've got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you next. No, I will see you next week. I'm back. She's back. Except my Bad Bunny next week. Bad Bunny Weibo. Um, yeah, I do have Bad Bunny next week, but that's on Sunday. So if it all goes well, I should be done. The episode ready for Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided what day works. I think Sundays are probably better, but we'll see what job I get and what my schedule's like. But yeah, we're back. We're back, baby. And I will see you guys next week. Okay, bye.